into another Holocaust.
Avi, there are few people, I'm going to let you take it up from here, Chief Blair, but there are few people that are willing to take on this battle. I agree with you wholeheartedly. These are issues, main issues in society that we all need to deal with. But sadly enough, there are not enough people fighting these battles. Go ahead, Chief Blair.
Christine, one of the things that struck me most profoundly in visiting various Holocaust sites across Europe was to stand in the place where these terrible crimes were taking place, where tens of thousands and even millions of people were murdered. And the thing that struck me most profoundly was to look out beyond the fence and to see how life was going on and realize that those victims stood in that same place and looked out into those same communities, those roads where people were going about their daily lives. And I don't think we should ever be so arrogant as to assume that these things could never happen in society again, because there is not such a great passage of time or of our societies. And that's why we need to learn to find ways to ensure that these things can never occur again, that there is greater tolerance and understanding and acceptance of all of the people, of all diversities. And so when we hear this hatred being propagated, when we hear virulent anti-Semitism, even in our own society,
yes,
then all society has to stand up to it. All society has to challenge it. We can never again stand by complacency and let such horrors be perpetuated on our fellow citizens.
Yes. Max?
Just further on what Chief said, I think we need to understand what happens to a society. Look back at Germany, where the Jews were the scapegoats. They were dehumanized, and whatever they had was taken away from them. Somebody who was on TV the other day from Munich, he said, we became gold diggers. You know? They took away the Jewish businesses, the art, and all that sort of thing. And it changed their entire society. So this we need to think about. If a minority group of people, even in this country, if they are being dehumanized and disrespected and bad things are done to them, it will change our society. It will turn our society upside down. And this is a big worry. And I think people need to understand that,
yes,
you see.
Now, Chief Blair, I'm going to come back to him after the break, because in his line of duty, of course, he's seen evidence of hate crimes, and this is something we're going to come back to. Once again, your comments are important to us. Give us a call at any time. We'll be back after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to our discussion, Remembering the Holocaust. And as I said, we're going to go back to Chief Blair very shortly, but we've got some pictures we want to show you from that trip that I told you about early on in the program, a visit to Poland to see the Holocaust sites, a very moving trip. And Avi, if you can take over from here and talk about them as we go through those pictures.
Sure. Well, this one here, this one is extraordinary. These are actually the gas canisters that were used in the gas chambers. But if you look at it, it says gift gas. And you know, the horror and the you know, the propaganda that was used was just incredible.
Now that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the next picture. There we go.
So this is something that I referred to earlier.
Yes.
So there's a red shoe, and these are the shoes, and this is a sampling, and you see piles and piles, endless piles of shoes, and you see them at most camps. Majdanek also had, I think this one is from Auschwitz. Again, it's horrific when you see the physical evidence, the remaining evidence of people.
Yes. Okay, let's go to the next one.
And this is the selection area at Auschwitz, and this is inside the camp, the famous railway tracks. The cemetery in Warsaw.
Okay, let's go on.
I'm just commenting, if I might, on
on
the cemeteries.
Yes.
We went to many former Jewish communities, and in Poland, the cemeteries had been destroyed. They knocked down the stones, the tombstones. They smashed them to small pieces. They used them as pavement in the roadways. And again, it was part of this initiative to erase the memory of the people that they had murdered, but also to erase any evidence of their crime. And that's one of the things I think that is so disturbing about Holocaust deniers, because that denying is part of the effort that the Nazis made to hide their crimes, to destroy the evidence of their crimes.
Very well put.
That's
Yes.
right.
And it's just a continuation of that same effort.
Exactly
So true.
correct.
Let's go back and look at some of those pictures that we have there.
The last picture, this one here is a gas chamber, and from the inside out, and you could see there was actually a peephole in the door where the guards could see and open the door when it's all clear, when everyone has died. So you could see that you know, you could visibly see what's going on inside the chamber. This, of course, you know, this was at Majdanek, I believe, and you could see the fencing that separated the camp from the outside world and the guard towers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chief Blair, you talked about, oh, we've got another one, and this is probably one of the worst. One of the worst.
Well, for me, this was probably the
Yes.
hardest to see. I believe
Yes.
this one here is at Majdanek as well, which obviously these are the ovens. It would take about 20 minutes for a body to completely burn and become ash. And this is how they essentially destroyed, again, all of the evidence.
Absolutely disgraceful.
You know, the first few years of the war, about 1.5 million people were murdered. They simply dug ditches, marched them into the ditches, and shot them to death, and covered and burned their bodies in the ditches. But the crime evolved and became far more systematic, far better organized. The investment that they made in these camps, the way they were structured, it demonstrated remarkable efficiency